amongst the team, travelling. What's your general feeling about having a bye and what its effect on the players?
Yeah, look, last time we had a bye we played Collingwood the week after, and it was one of our better games for the year. We didn't get the win, but all of the indicators pointed to a good break and refreshed group. So we've gone down a similar path. So we think they've trained well. It's always a good sign when they come back after 4 days and they train well with good intent. Plus we had the Dean situation as well. Jeez, it smells in here. It's shocking.
So psychologically, is there anything about sort of that end of an era and this? Hey, you guys, this is it. This is the group that's taking us forward.
Oh, look, you know, end of an era. It's probably part of a transition that started before I got here. To be honest, you know, we lost 3 or 4 players last year as well, and to lose Dean and Darren this year is probably just part of life, and you know, it is the beginning of something new with me, but it's sort of, it happens every year.
Is Coxie playing?
Yeah, he'll play this week.
What's the plan with him? Is he mainly going to play home games from here, or is there a plan?
He'll play more than just this week, but we haven't, you know, mapped out the whole 6 games. But this is not his last game.
What changes do you make?
I will make a few. We've got match committee again before selection this afternoon, so I won't go into too much detail, but there'll be 3 or 4 changes.
Are you making changes on form and to get your best team out there, or are you looking at players? What's the criteria?
A bit of both. You know, it feels like there's 6 to 8 players who can play better, but are playing well enough to hold their spot. So I'm working on that balance on, you know, who's available, and also continue to give them opportunity. So it's a bit of a balancing act.
Is that those 6 to 8 players, is that a form thing, or do you think they need to sort of get better at getting the best out of themselves? Combination of, you know, I think our top end players have got another level to go to, and our kids are going to be up and down from week to week. You know, McGovern's a classic, you know, so we want to give him opportunity, but he's also got to earn his spot.
So is that why you're not in the top 8 at the moment, Adam?
What's that?
With those 6 guys who you know what they're capable of, but they're not quite doing it yet, and they're holding their spot. Is that sort of the gap that's...
Yeah, maybe. Look, we're not in the top 8 because we don't deserve to be in the top 8. You know, we've beaten one team above us in Gold Coast, so we're exactly where we should be. But we think there's some good upside.
Who captains the side tomorrow night?
Just thinking about that walking down here. I think Shannon Hearn will be captain this week. Yeah.
Who are some of the guys you're looking at in the Waffle have a look at for the rest of the season that you haven't maybe had a good chance yet?
Yeah, well, we've almost played. I think we've played 35 or 6 players. So, you know, we've got people like Sharrod and Bennell, you know, those guys who have played lots of senior games. Hill, Cripps. So those guys there have played a good chunk of senior football, but aren't in the side at the moment. So, and they're playing well enough to get into the side. It's like I said, there's 6 to 8 players around that mark at the moment.
Where's Sharrod at now? It's sort of been a horrible year for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been hopefully a good learning year for Sharrod. He's really excited about what he can do and what he's learning off the field and off the track and game day as well. So we think there's some tremendous upside with Sharrod, and we're not writing him off by any stretch, and he'll be available for tomorrow night, and if it's not this week then hopefully it's next week.
I'll ask you about Jamie Bennell. I saw him play Waffle a couple of weeks ago, and he split the game open and basically won it for East Perth Way. What exactly did he do wrong to get himself out of the team? Was he a bit stiff perhaps?
He's one of those players that I spoke about before that it's been a tremendous year for him. He's come off a knee reconstruction. He would have played 5 or 6 games last year at Waffle level, and to play every game up until about round 15 was a great effort. We just saw a few areas that just dropped away a little bit defensively, and when you're a half back, you need to get, that's the first thing you need to bring. So we know what he can do with the ball, and what he did do at Waffle level was he played midfield and gave some speed and broke the game open there. So that's something we want to continue to look at.
What do you make of Richmond tonight?
Well, I think they've got their mojo back. The last 5 weeks, their numbers, regardless of their wins and losses, their numbers are really high in everything from contested ball, time of possession, clearances, scores from stoppages, all the things that made them such a good good team last year, they're back. So they're in a really good space. They did a number on us last year over here, so it's going to be a difficult game.
They've got some dangerous midfielders. Who's probably Deledio, Martin, Koch, and who's the #1 target?
Well, they're all different. Yeah, at the moment, Martin's doing a lot of damage forward of the ball, but so's Cochin. His last month, he's progressed from being a sort of a centre-back type of midfielder to a guy who can go forward and kick multiple goals. So he's really dangerous. And Deledio's always dangerous as well if you let him off the hook. So we can't tag them all, but we're going to have to back in our mids at some stage.
Will you try and tag one of them, eliminate one of them?
We may look at that. Yeah, we thought Hutch did a pretty good job last week on Hanley, and it was the first time he's ever done it. So another new thing for us. And you know, he responded really well. I think Hanley had 7 possessions in the second half. So that was a win for us, and he kicked the winning goal as well. So it's not to say it'll be him, but we think at stages throughout the game he'll do it.
How do you go about killing off their mojo? What are the major keys against Richmond?
Oh, look, they start really well. And, you know, their time and possession's a big thing for Richmond. We know that they like to control the ball, but they also, you know, they've been really good in contested ball as well. I think they've won 12 out of 16 quarters. So just in general, the ball in their hands, they're really dangerous at the moment. So it's going to be a collective approach.
And Mitch Brown, how's he looking for this week?
I think he's going to be okay. Yeah, we trained today, so we'll see how he trains.
Adam, at the forward line, sort of almost symptomatic of the team, they sort of tease you with some fantastic passages, but then have sort of down periods. Do you feel like you're getting on top of the balance there and the combination, the ball coming in and getting the conversion rate right? Where do you feel you're at with that, particularly with the key forwards, Kennedy and Darling?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're ranked pretty high at converting inside 50s into scores. Feels like there's another gear though, doesn't it, that we can go to. So supply is important, and we've had a handful of games this year where we've had really good supply, and it hasn't worked for us in our forward line. But we need to get more inside 50s, and that's our long-term goal. And our ball movement and our skill level, all those things, and connecting with our forwards is something we've been working on for a long time, and it still hasn't clicked yet. So when we get that right, I think we can be pretty dangerous.
And Nick Melchesky's manager said yesterday that Perth teams were among those to show interest in Nick, and Nick's weighing his future at the end of the season. Not that he's, you know, overwhelmingly likely to leave or anything, but would you welcome a player like that?
I'm really reluctant to talk about players from other teams who are available or unavailable. I'm not going to get drawn into that one, I'm sorry.
With Collingwood and Gold Coast stumbling a bit, do you guys kind of look at the ladder now and kind of think, if we do things right, we could sneak in there?
It's hard not to. It's hard not to barrack for other teams at the moment when you're, and I'm sure supporters are doing it as well as players and coaches, but we've got to win, you know, and there's no point hoping for wins and losses around the comp if we can't concentrate on our own destiny. And look, we play, I think, 4 teams directly above us and a team directly beneath us. So we can, if we can't make the 8, I reckon we can shape it. So that's our intent.
How much do you use it as perhaps maybe a motivation? Do you ever tell the players, look, if we do things right, we could get in there, like our fate could be in our own hands?
Not at the moment, no. There's good energy at the club and the group and the coaches. I don't know if it's because we're a younger coaching staff or not, but there hasn't been the grind that you do get at this time of the year, especially when, you know, the finals are still there, but, you know, it's going to be quite difficult. But the way we train and our energy within the club is at a really high level, which is really pleasing. It tells us we're on the right track with our unity. But that only takes you so far. I mean, you've got to deliver on field. But at least off field and the way we train is at a good standard.
Would Mitch come back through the waffle?
I doubt it. He's only missed a couple of weeks. Has he? 4 weeks. 4. When he did, it's Fremantle was the game I reckon he's missed 2. I reckon he missed 2 games and 4 weeks of actual time. So no, he was in really good form. We're really happy with what he was doing. So if he's available, he'll play.
He got his speed back, hadn't he? It was, for a big guy, he'd really had a good turn of speed. A couple of times with Ballantyne, he was actually more than holding his own.
Yeah,
Straight line.
yeah. Look, I think since I've been here, he's always had speed. Yeah, it's probably what we've given him this year is more opportunity to play on the smalls, and he hasn't let us down once. And the biggest part of his game is he's aggressive. He's 95 kilos, so he's carrying around a bit of weight.
Can I say just one more question on Coxie? Well, all things being equal, if he's fit and everything's going well, will the fans and everybody know this is going to be his last home game? Like, could this be his? I know it's awkward for you to say, but do you think there will be a feeling, hey, this is his last game at Patterson's?
Oh, I've got to encourage every supporter and member to come and watch every game they can for the rest of the year, regardless. But Cox is in his last 6 weeks, so he won't play every game, but this won't be his last.